Have you ever found yourself in a situation where it feels as though you are merely a participant in someone else's reality? A reality where you are continuously striving to meet the expectations set by family, friends, or society at large. In the relentless pursuit of approval, have you lost sight of your true self? If this resonates with you, take solace in knowing that you are not alone. Countless individuals spend decades of their lives laboring under the weight of external standards, working tirelessly to ascend the corporate ladder, amassing possessions they believe they need, and attending social gatherings that fail to ignite any sense of joy, all in the name of trying to fit into a mold that others have created. But what if, upon reaching the age of 70, you discovered the remarkable opportunity to break free from this exhausting cycle? What if you could fully embrace your authentic self, liberated from the pressures of conforming to someone else's definition of success? Picture waking up each day enveloped in a profound sense of peace, knowing you are living life genuinely, wholeheartedly embracing what brings you joy, without guilt or hesitation. Imagine finally prioritizing your own happiness and uncovering a sense of purpose that is distinctly your own. In this video, I am excited to share with you some of the most powerful insights that accompany aging. These are the invaluable lessons that only life experience can impart, wisdom that empowers you to release toxic relationships, shed material possessions that weigh you down, and free yourself from societal pressures that have never truly served you. I will guide you on how to step away from unnecessary comparisons with others, how to embrace your unique beauty, and how to confidently say no to obligations that no longer contribute to your well-being. These insights are often not realized until much later in life, yet when they do surface, they have the potential to completely transform how you live, feel, and experience the world around you. By staying with me until the end of this video, you will discover the incredible freedom that comes from relinquishing the burden of other people's opinions. You will learn the joy of decluttering, not just your physical space but also your mind and heart, and how to take control of your happiness without feeling an ounce of guilt. If you are weary of living according to the expectations of others, constantly seeking validation, and are ready to step into a life that is truly yours, a life that fills you with peace, joy, and fulfillment, then this video is precisely what you have been searching for. So stick around as we dive deep into how you can cultivate more authenticity, happiness, and confidence at any age. You deserve this, and I am here to show you how. If you haven't already subscribed, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and activate the notification bell, ensuring you don't miss out on any of the valuable videos coming your way. Your support means the world to me. If you find value in this content, please consider liking and sharing it with your friends and family. If the subject matter of this video resonates with you, I invite you to leave a comment with a 1. Conversely, if it's not quite what you expected, please comment 0 and share your thoughts on how I can improve. Now let's dive into the first insight, the liberation that comes from letting go of the weight of others' opinions. Throughout our lives, many of us carry the heavy burden of other people's expectations. From the moment we enter this world, we are conditioned to seek approval from those around us, our parents, teachers, friends, and later our colleagues and society at large. We receive constant messages dictating how we should act, what we should wear, how we should behave, and even how we should live our lives. For much of our earlier years, we strive to meet the standards and images imposed upon us. Whether it's the pressure to conform to a specific appearance or to achieve certain milestones by a predetermined age, we often find ourselves trying to fit into a mold that does not reflect our true selves. The expectations of society can feel overwhelming, and in our quest for approval, we risk losing touch with our own identities, feeling adrift and uncertain about whether we are living for ourselves or merely fulfilling someone else's vision of what life ought to be. However, here's the transformative truth. When you reach the age of 70, something profound shifts within you. You have lived long enough to experience the ebbs and flows of life, to savor the joys and endure the struggles, and to glean invaluable lessons from your journey. With this accumulated wisdom comes a remarkable realization. The opinions of others no longer hold the same sway over you. You come to understand that your worth is not dictated by what others think of you or by the standards they impose. This realization is nothing short of liberating. For the first time, you grasp that you do not need to contort yourself to fit anyone else's expectations. The burden of needing to please those around you begins to lift, granting you a profound sense of peace. No matter how hard we try, there will always be someone who critiques our decisions, our lifestyles, or the paths we choose. The truth is, we cannot live our lives based solely on the opinions of others. Ultimately, the only thing that matters is how we feel about ourselves. Living for others' approval is an exhausting and heavy burden, one that far too many of us carry for far too long. Yet, as we age, we start to realize that one of the most precious gifts that maturity provides is the freedom to release that pressure. By choosing to stop worrying about what others think, we reclaim a sense of freedom that many of us have not felt in years. It's a liberation from judgment, a chance to be authentic, and the ability to simply be ourselves. This newfound freedom allows us to live life on our own terms, making choices that align with our values and what brings us genuine happiness, rather than striving to meet the ever-changing expectations of others. It is a moment of self-acceptance, where we cease striving to become something we are not and instead begin to embrace our true selves. When we live authentically, prioritizing what brings us joy and fulfillment, we relinquish the need for validation from external sources. It no longer matters if others disagree with our choices or our life path. What truly matters is that we have achieved a sense of peace with ourselves and our decisions. This liberation, the freedom from seeking approval, is one of the most rewarding gifts that life after 70 can bestow. We no longer feel the need to apologize for who we are, nor do we need to justify our choices to anyone. We can live unencumbered by the expectations of others, and in doing so, we confidently embrace our true selves, unapologetically and without reservation. Now, let's explore the second insight: freeing ourselves from the burden of material possessions. As we grow older, we begin to recognize a powerful truth. True happiness does not stem from the accumulation of material goods. For much of our lives, we have been conditioned to equate success with the things we own: the spacious house filled with furniture, the closets overflowing with clothes, and the garage stacked with items we rarely use. We have been led to believe that more possessions equate to more stability, more success, and ultimately more happiness. However, as we approach our 70s, a profound shift occurs. We start to see that these material possessions often fail to bring the joy we anticipated. In fact, they frequently become burdens. Items that once seemed essential begin to clutter our physical and mental spaces. Over the years, we come to realize that we do not require as much as we once thought to lead a fulfilling life. The act of letting go of material possessions becomes one of the most refreshing and liberating experiences of this stage of life. Decluttering our lives, whether it involves parting with clothes we haven't worn in years, furniture that no longer serves a purpose, or the piles of belongings that have accumulated over time, can feel like inhaling a breath of fresh air. This process is not about stripping ourselves of everything we own. Rather, it is about conducting a deep and honest evaluation of what truly adds value to our lives versus what merely occupies space. It involves discerning between what is useful, meaningful, or joyful and what is simply extra weight, both physically and mentally. Clearing out our physical spaces not only lightens our homes but also clears our minds. As we let go of excess belongings, we also liberate ourselves from the emotional attachments that often accompany them. It is common to hold on to items because they are tied to memories, moments, or people we do not wish to forget. Our homes become repositories of mementos from our past, and we cling to them out of fear that letting go equates to losing those memories. However, here is the truth. Memories and experiences do not reside in objects. They live within us, in our hearts and minds. By releasing our hold on material possessions, we create space for new experiences, relationships, and meaningful moments that enrich our lives with joy and purpose. Imagine the peace that comes from living in a home that feels lighter, simpler, and more open, where only the things you truly use or love remain. This simplification process reconnects us with what is essential: the people, experiences, and things that genuinely bring us happiness. It's not about embracing minimalism for its own sake. Instead, it's about reveling in the freedom that comes with living a life unburdened by material goods. At this stage of life, particularly after turning 70, we come to understand that true wealth is not found in possessions but in the freedom to live without being tied down by things, whether that means the desire to continually acquire or the burden of keeping up with material expectations. Real wealth lies in our ability to choose what matters most to us, to focus on what adds value to our lives, and to surround ourselves only with what genuinely enriches our experiences. As we age, we are afforded a rare opportunity to release the grip of materialism and embrace a life where we are unshackled by possessions, allowing freedom and peace to become our most treasured assets. Now let's discuss the third insight: saying no to unnecessary social obligations. Upon reaching the age of 70, we often experience a moment of clarity, a realization of just how liberating it can be to say no to social obligations that no longer serve us. For much of our lives, we have found ourselves caught in a cycle of fulfilling commitments, often saying yes out of habit or to avoid disappointing others. Whether it's attending family gatherings that drain our energy, social events with distant friends, or celebrations that no longer resonate with us, we have spent so much time trying to please others that we sometimes forget to prioritize our own needs. Throughout the years, we have been conditioned to prioritize social appearances and obligations. We have sacrificed our time, well-being, and sometimes even our peace of mind, all in the name of meeting external expectations. It can be particularly challenging to say no, especially regarding family events or gatherings with those we care about. However, as we grow older, we begin to understand the importance of valuing our time and energy differently. We learn to set boundaries and realize that it is perfectly acceptable to say no. In many cultures, family gatherings and celebrations are integral to social life, making it feel almost impossible to opt out. For instance, in numerous Hispanic cultures, there is an expectation that elders will always attend family events, even if they do not enjoy them or feel up to the task. These gatherings are viewed as significant, often accompanied by emotional weight for those who miss them. Yet with age, we start to shift our focus from acting out of obligation to choosing what truly aligns with our well-being. Saying no does not signify selfishness. Rather, it is a form of self-care, a way of protecting our inner peace and honoring our own needs. We no longer need to attend every family dinner, birthday party, baptism, or wedding. It is okay to decline an event if we are not feeling it, if we are exhausted, or if we would prefer to spend our time doing something that genuinely replenishes our spirits. At this stage of life, it is about choosing when and how we engage with the world around us. We do not have to isolate ourselves, but we can become more intentional about the moments we choose to share with others. Instead of attending every social gathering, we can prioritize the relationships and activities that truly bring us joy, whether that means spending time with close friends, enjoying a quiet day at home, or indulging in a good book. We now possess the freedom to say no to what does not serve us. As we grow older, time becomes increasingly precious, with each moment feeling more valuable. We become more intentional about how we spend it. By setting boundaries and liberating ourselves from the pressure to attend every event, we create space to appreciate the moments that truly matter. We learn to focus on what nourishes us and what brings us joy, rather than worrying about meeting the expectations of others. The beauty of this stage in life is that we no longer need to attend social events out of obligation. When we choose to show up, we do so because we genuinely want to be there, and this intention makes the experience infinitely more fulfilling. By establishing boundaries and respecting our own needs, we teach those around us to do the same. As a result, our relationships grow stronger, built on authenticity and mutual respect. The people in our lives will come to value the time we spend with them even more because it is no longer about fulfilling an obligation. It is about sharing genuine, meaningful moments. Next, let us explore the fourth insight: embracing authentic beauty. As we age, particularly after crossing the milestone of 70, we are granted a precious opportunity: the chance to embrace our authentic beauty and shed society's superficial expectations. For much of our lives, we have been bombarded with messages dictating what beauty should resemble, from magazine covers to the continuous stream of images on social media. We have been conditioned to equate beauty with youth, flawless skin, and slim bodies. The relentless pressure to conform to these ideals can create an environment where we feel compelled to fight against aging, hide our wrinkles, cover our grays, and chase after an unrealistic notion of eternal youth. These societal ideals are pervasive, shaping our self-perception and that of others, fostering a narrative that suggests aging is something to be feared and resisted. However, as the years pass, we begin to comprehend a liberating truth. These expectations are not only unrealistic but also irrelevant. True beauty is not found in the facade we present to the world, but in the authenticity we carry within ourselves. It is reflected in the confidence we exude when we stand tall in our true selves, and in the wisdom we have gathered over the years. At the age of 70, many of us find the freedom to accept our bodies just as they are. Wrinkles, once viewed as imperfections to be concealed, transform into beautiful marks of a life well lived, evidence of shared laughter, challenges overcome, and experiences that have shaped us. Each line on our faces becomes a testament to the rich, full lives we have led, and every gray hair serves as a reminder of the wisdom we have accumulated over time. Aging, we come to realize, is a privilege, not something to be ashamed of. This stage of life invites us to redefine beauty on our own terms. We no longer need to measure ourselves against society's fleeting ideals, which are often superficial and transient. True beauty emanates from within. It is the peace and serenity that arise from accepting who we are without the need to be someone we are not. This is the kind of beauty that deepens with time, as we grow into our true selves. Real beauty manifests in how we treat others, in the kindness we show, the meaningful conversations we engage in, and the quiet strength that radiates from within us. It is a beauty that does not fade with time. Instead, it grows stronger. It is the kind of beauty that emerges from a life filled with experiences, learning, and personal growth, becoming even more powerful as the years advance. In this new chapter of life, it is essential to set aside societal pressures that dictate how we should appear. We no longer need to impress anyone with our looks or conceal our age behind layers of makeup or clothing. Instead, we can revel in the freedom that comes from simply being ourselves, confidently embracing our authenticity. By fully embracing our authentic beauty, we not only liberate ourselves but also set an inspiring example for younger generations. We teach them to value character, integrity, and authenticity over the superficial appearance often prioritized by society. This acceptance of our true selves empowers us to live fully, to find joy in who we are, and to inspire others to do the same. We no longer fret over hiding what we have been taught to view as imperfections. Rather, we wear them with pride, fully aware that they are integral parts of our unique stories. This is the beauty that transcends time, reflecting who we are at our core and allowing us to connect with others on a much deeper level. Now let's discuss the fifth insight: reevaluating activities that no longer bring joy. As the years roll on, our priorities inevitably shift, and the activities that once filled us with joy may no longer hold the same significance. This realization often crystallizes as we reach the age of 70, a time ripe for reflection and renewal. We find ourselves at a stage in life where we can critically evaluate how we spend our days and ask ourselves whether the activities we engage in still bring us happiness, or if we have merely continued them out of habit or obligation. Let's face it, life is far too precious to continue engaging in activities that no longer fulfill us. Too often, we find ourselves ensnared in routines, attending events or participating in activities that fail to spark any joy or excitement within us. What once satisfied us can slowly morph into a burden, leaving us feeling drained or disconnected from our authentic selves. Over the years, we may have built habits or routines that seemed important at the time, be it a cherished hobby, a circle of friends, or a social group. However, as time passes, these activities can lose their appeal. This is when it becomes crucial to take a moment for a reset. Reevaluating these activities does not signify a rejection of our past, but rather an acknowledgement that, as we evolve, so too do our desires. What brought us happiness at 30 or 50 may not be what fulfills us at 70. This realization is incredibly liberating, granting us the freedom to prioritize our present well-being over outdated habits that no longer resonate with who we are. Letting go of activities that no longer bring us joy is not about abandoning the essence of who we were. It is about making space for new experiences. Just as we declutter our physical space, we can also release routines or activities that have become stale or unfulfilling. By doing so, we open the door to discovering new interests, hobbies, and passions that align more closely with the individuals we have become. Initially, the act of letting go can be challenging. We often cling to the familiar because it feels safe, even if it no longer brings us happiness. The fear of the unknown or stepping outside our comfort zones can hold us back. However, freeing ourselves from outdated routines is essential for living a fulfilling life at this stage. The beauty of this phase is that we can consciously choose how we spend our time. We are no longer bound by the same professional or familial obligations that once dominated our days. Instead, we have the freedom to devote our energy to things that genuinely satisfy us, be it reconnecting with a forgotten passion, exploring a new hobby, or simply enjoying the luxury of doing nothing. The value of our time lies not in how much we do but in the quality of the experiences we choose. Reevaluating our activities invites us to be more selective with our time. We need not attend every social gathering or participate in every event out of social pressure or habit. By reflecting on what truly makes us happy, we grant ourselves permission to live more intentionally and authentically. This stage of life empowers us to curate our experiences, filling our time with only what brings us joy and fulfillment. Now, if you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, I encourage you to comment below to let me know you are still here with me. This process of reevaluation allows us to reconnect with our true desires and needs, helping us to leave behind activities that no longer serve our happiness and embrace the joy of living in the present. By shedding the unnecessary burdens of old obligations, we create space for a more vibrant and intentional life. At 70, we come to learn that our time is one of the most precious resources we possess. By choosing to fill it with what truly matters, we allow ourselves to live more lightly and with a deeper sense of purpose. We are no longer weighed down by meaningless tasks or routines. Instead, we open ourselves up to a life full of new experiences, greater fulfillment, and a renewed sense of joy. Next, let's delve into the sixth insight: cutting ties with toxic relationships. Throughout our lives, relationships play a fundamental role in shaping our happiness and well-being. The individuals we connect with influence our experiences, emotions, and, ultimately, the quality of our lives. However, not all relationships are healthy or constructive. Some, over time, may become sources of stress, emotional exhaustion, or even deep pain. By the time we reach 70, we have accumulated enough wisdom and experience to discern which relationships nurture us and which ones drain us. This newfound clarity grants us the freedom to make a brave but necessary decision: to cut ties with those whose presence in our lives has become toxic or harmful. For years, we may have held on to friendships or family relationships out of habit, obligation, or fear of social repercussions that could arise from distancing ourselves. It is all too easy to endure a relationship that no longer serves us, especially when we feel a sense of duty to maintain it. Yet, at this stage of life, our well-being takes precedence over holding on to connections that cause emotional pain or stress. Toxic relationships manifest in various forms, often involving individuals who consistently criticize us, make us feel inadequate, or take from us without offering anything meaningful in return. These relationships bring more suffering than joy and hinder our ability to live peacefully and fulfillingly. Recognizing that staying in a toxic relationship does more harm than good is crucial. Cutting ties is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-love and self-compassion. It is about acknowledging that we deserve to surround ourselves with people who uplift us, respect us, and genuinely care about our growth and happiness. Sometimes, the fear of conflict or the notion of hurting someone's feelings can hold us back from ending a relationship that no longer serves us. However, we must remember that prioritizing our well-being should always take precedence. Letting go of toxic relationships creates space for healthier, more rewarding connections and moments of peace and solitude where we can enjoy our own company without the emotional weight of negativity. This process is not always easy. It can evoke feelings of guilt or sadness, especially if it involves a long-standing relationship or a family member. However, by making this choice, we free ourselves from a toxic emotional burden that, in the long run, would only continue to harm us. We must understand that we are not obligated to maintain relationships that hurt us simply because of the time we've spent together or the family ties that bind us. The quality of our relationships far outweighs their duration or the type of bond we share. We deserve to invest our time and energy in people who add value to our lives, not those who constantly drag us down. By cutting ties with toxic individuals, we open ourselves up to refocusing our energy on relationships that truly matter, those that support and inspire us, stand by us through life's ups and downs, celebrate our victories, and comfort us in our struggles. These are the relationships that nourish us, help us grow as individuals, and are worth our investment. When we let go of toxic relationships, we send a powerful message to ourselves. We deserve to be treated with love, respect, and dignity. This act of liberation enhances our emotional health and sets a higher standard for the relationships we allow into our lives moving forward. As we navigate through life, we learn to recognize the signs of toxicity early on and become adept at setting healthy boundaries that protect our peace and preserve our energy. This process enables us to live more authentically, lightly, and with a sharper focus on what truly matters: our inner peace and happiness. Now let's explore the seventh insight: stopping comparisons with others. Throughout our lives, it is nearly impossible to avoid the habit of comparing ourselves to others. From a young age, we are exposed to societal standards and expectations that subtly, or sometimes overtly, encourage us to measure ourselves based on what others possess or what they have accomplished. These comparisons shape our self-perception and often lead to dissatisfaction, as we continuously feel as though we fall short. The tendency to compare can infiltrate every area of our lives: our careers, material possessions, physical appearance, relationships, and even our levels of happiness. We look at others and wonder why their lives seem more successful or easier than our own. We may wish we had their achievements, their wealth, or their seemingly perfect relationships. However, as we age, especially after reaching 70, we begin to recognize that this constant comparison is not only unhealthy but also unnecessary. At this stage of life, we have learned enough about ourselves and the world to understand that no one else's life can serve as a true measure of our own. Each person has their unique path, struggles, and circumstances. What appears as a perfect life from the outside often conceals challenges and sacrifices we cannot see. This is a crucial lesson that comes with age. Comparisons are misleading. True happiness and fulfillment cannot be accurately gauged by someone else's standards. Instead of fixating on how others have succeeded, we can redirect our focus inward and appreciate our own journeys. We can celebrate the experiences we've had, the relationships we've built, and the personal growth we've achieved. The wisdom that comes with age teaches us that success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. What once seemed paramount, such as professional achievements or the accumulation of material wealth, often loses significance as we grow older. What truly matters as we age is not what we have or what we have done in comparison to others, but the joy and peace we experience along the way. Our happiness is determined by how we feel about our own lives and how content we are with the choices we have made. By letting go of the need to compare ourselves to others, we also release the pressure to meet external expectations that no longer align with our true selves. While it is natural to feel envious at times or to wonder if we have accomplished as much as someone else, we eventually come to understand that happiness is personal. What brings us joy may look entirely different from what brings joy to someone else, and that is perfectly acceptable. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we open up space for greater gratitude for what we have achieved and for the small joys that enrich our lives. Instead of questioning whether we measure up to others, we begin to ask ourselves, am I living in a way that makes me proud? Living in a constant state of comparison robs us of the joy that accompanies our victories. Too often we accomplish something significant, something meaningful to us, but rather than celebrating it, we downplay it because it doesn't seem as impressive as what others have achieved. This diminishes our satisfaction and keeps us trapped in a never-ending cycle of seeking validation from external sources. By releasing the need to compare ourselves to others, we reclaim the ability to take pride in our successes, no matter how small they may appear to others. One of the greatest freedoms we can experience after 70 is the ability to simply be ourselves without the compulsion to impress anyone or compete with others. We have earned the right to live life on our own terms. At this stage, we come to understand that the only thing that truly matters is how we feel about ourselves and the life we have created. We no longer need to chase after someone else's vision of success. We have the freedom to live authentically and appreciate our unique journeys, with all their twists and turns. When we cease comparing ourselves to others, we also liberate ourselves from the anxiety and pressure that such comparisons bring. Instead of fixating on what we lack or what others possess, we can concentrate on what truly matters: our health, our relationships, and the simple moments of happiness that make life worthwhile. Letting go of comparison is a powerful step toward living more fully. We can now find greater satisfaction in our paths, relish the present moment, and embrace the lives we have worked hard to build on our terms. Now let's turn our attention to the 8th insight: redefining goals that are no longer relevant. Throughout our lives, the goals and dreams we pursue are often shaped by the social, familial, and personal expectations we encounter at various stages. In our younger years, it is common to focus on building a career, raising a family, accumulating material wealth, or achieving specific milestones we believe will lead to a fulfilling and successful life. These goals often define us, driving us to work harder and aim higher. However, as we approach the age of 70, many of these goals may no longer resonate as they once did. What once seemed crucial to our happiness and fulfillment may have lost its relevance or meaning, and that is perfectly okay. Redefining our goals at this stage in life is not only natural, it is essential for embracing a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. Looking back, we might recognize that some of the goals we spent decades striving for no longer hold the same value. Perhaps we have already achieved many of them, or we have come to understand that the things we once believed we wanted are not as important as we once thought. We may find ourselves realizing that what we truly desire in life now looks very different from what it did when we were younger. Redefining our goals at this point does not signify abandoning our dreams. Rather, it involves adjusting our expectations to better align with who we are now and what brings us joy. It is about aligning our ambitions with the realities of this stage in our lives, which can be a liberating process. For instance, if our primary focus in the past was on career success, we may now discover that work does not hold the same central place in our lives. Instead, we may feel a deep yearning to spend more time with loved ones, enjoy personal hobbies, or simply live with greater peace and tranquility. The goals we set now may not revolve around climbing the corporate ladder or acquiring more possessions, but rather about cultivating inner happiness and nurturing the relationships that matter most. By redefining our goals, we shift our focus to what truly brings us joy in the present moment, rather than continuing to chase after achievements that no longer fulfill us. This change in perspective grants us the freedom to release the pressure we have placed on ourselves for years, allowing us to let go of the belief that our worth is defined by what we do or how much we accomplish. In earlier years, success might have been characterized by professional achievements, financial growth, or societal recognition. However, as we age, we begin to prioritize well-being, contentment, and inner peace. Redefining our goals enables us to embrace new opportunities and experiences that we may not have considered before, opening the door to new adventures, passions, and interests that align more closely with our current desires and life circumstances. This process of reevaluating our goals does not entail abandoning our past dreams. Instead, it invites us to create space for new ones. It allows us to enjoy the freedom of living in the present without the burden of past expectations or a relentless race to do more and achieve more. Instead, we focus on what brings us joy, balance, and satisfaction. At this stage of life, redefining our goals instills a sense of peace and fulfillment. We can cease measuring our success by past standards and begin focusing on what truly matters: our health, our happiness, and the quality of the relationships we nurture. We allow ourselves to appreciate life as it is, reveling in the beauty of the present moment instead of constantly striving for something more. Redefining our goals is about embracing what is meaningful to us now, rather than what we once thought would define us. It is about living with intention, gratitude, and joy. We come to realize that our worth is not determined by external markers of success but by the love we give and receive, the peace we cultivate within, and the happiness we create for ourselves and others. Finally, let's discuss the 9th insight: prioritizing your happiness without guilt. By the time we reach 70, one of the most significant lessons we can learn is the importance of prioritizing our happiness without feeling guilty. For much of our lives, we have been conditioned to place the needs of others ahead of our own, whether it be out of love, a sense of duty, or societal pressures to care for family, friends, or our community. We have spent years sacrificing our desires to meet the expectations of others. However, reaching this golden stage of life presents the perfect opportunity to reflect on what truly makes us happy. It is a moment when we can wholeheartedly embrace the idea that our happiness matters just as much, if not more than anyone else's, and we do not have to feel guilty about it. This is our time, and we deserve to fully enjoy life in all its beauty without the need to apologize or justify our choices. For many of us, prioritizing our happiness can feel challenging, especially if we have spent decades believing that our worth is defined by what we do for others. Shedding that mindset can be difficult. We might feel that putting ourselves first is selfish or wrong, but in reality, it is an act of courage and self-compassion. It is about recognizing that we have every right to live fully, to pursue what brings us joy, and to create a life that feels authentic to us. Over the years, we may have sacrificed our interests, dreams, or sense of self in the name of pleasing others or meeting expectations. This can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction, emptiness, or even resentment. Yet now, as we age, it is time to reclaim that energy and redirect it toward ourselves, toward what genuinely makes us happy. Adopting the mindset that prioritizing our happiness is not only acceptable but essential is one of the most liberating shifts we can make. We no longer need to feel guilty for pursuing our desires. We no longer need to seek permission or approval from others to do what feels right for us. By letting go of the burden of constantly justifying our choices, we begin to liberate ourselves from the emotional weight that comes with trying to meet everyone else's expectations. Prioritizing our happiness allows us to explore new activities, hobbies, and relationships that bring us joy and fulfillment. Perhaps there is a passion we have set aside for years or a new interest we have always wanted to pursue. Now is the perfect moment to immerse ourselves in the pursuits that truly make us feel alive, igniting our curiosity and keeping us engaged with the world around us. This journey of prioritizing ourselves involves a crucial lesson: learning how to say no. In a society that often pressures us to accept every invitation or fulfill every request, it can be all too easy to feel that we must say yes at all times. However, as we mature and gain wisdom, we come to realize that it's perfectly acceptable to decline opportunities that do not resonate with us or align with our true selves. Saying no is not an act of selfishness. Rather, it is a profound expression of self-respect. It is about carving out the necessary space in our lives for the things that genuinely nourish our souls. This might mean spending quality time with our loved ones, rediscovering a long-forgotten hobby that brings us joy, or simply allowing ourselves the time to engage in self-care practices that rejuvenate us. By setting boundaries and honoring our own needs, we empower ourselves to live with intention, making conscious choices about the activities we engage in and the people we surround ourselves with. When we prioritize our own happiness, we begin to unveil a version of ourselves that may have been lying dormant for years. We start to uncover the person we were always meant to be, free from the burdens of guilt, obligation, and societal expectations. This newfound freedom allows us to embrace life on our own terms, without apology or hesitation. This transformative shift not only impacts our own lives but also radiates outwards, empowering those around us. When we fully embrace our authentic selves, we inspire others to do the same. We encourage them to seek their own happiness, prioritize their well-being, and live authentically, unencumbered by the pressures that often weigh heavily on us. As we've explored together today, the wisdom gained through the passage of time can unlock doors to a more fulfilling and authentic life. From shedding societal expectations and material possessions to placing our happiness at the forefront and redefining our personal goals, we have discussed powerful strategies to cultivate greater peace, purpose, and joy in our lives. Now, I am genuinely eager to hear from you. What insights have resonated with you thus far? Is there a particular lesson that stood out and that you intend to incorporate into your own life moving forward? Please share your reflections in the comments below. I am excited to learn how you plan to apply these insights to foster a more authentic and joyful existence. And if you found value in this discussion, please consider leaving a comment, liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support means everything to us and enables us to continue sharing valuable lessons with those who may benefit from them. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to hearing how you are embracing these life-changing practices in your own journey.